We send £55 million a day out here and we only get 34 million back.
Red tape from the EU is preventing us from doing what we want to do.
It is the future of the United Kingdom that is at stake as a global world player.
Without that enormous amount of European funding, I think it's pretty clear there wouldn't be a Liverpool Science Park.
Those that want Britain to stay in Europe look to Liverpool for proof of what Europe can do for Britain. Ever flown from John Lennon Airport, £23 million of EU money helped expand it. Been to a concert at the arena, EU funding helped build it. The museum, the cathedral, the successful European Capital of Culture bid, all part paid for by cash from the European Union. That's because in 1994, Merseyside was declared an Objective 1 region by the European Union. Put simply, Merseyside was one of the poorest areas in Europe and in desperate need of investment. So over the next 2 decades, £2 billion of European money would be spent here. Money that people here say would never have been spent by a British government.
Merseyside only received this enormous amount of European funding because it was off the pace in terms of its GDP compared to the European average.
Chris Musson runs Liverpool Science Park, home to world leaders in engineering and biotechnology. He says without EU money from Brussels, this place wouldn't even exist.
The size and scale of investment in terms of tourism, in terms of buildings, in terms of university, in terms of skills, the whole concentration and geographical focus had a big impact on the city. And I count Liverpool Science Park in that as well.
But not everyone credits the EU for Merseyside's transition to one of the fastest growing regions in Europe. Born and raised in Liverpool, UKIP's Paul Nuttall says it's wrong to say the city was simply handed a free ticket to the Euro millions.
For every £2.88 that Merseyside puts in to the European pot, it only gets £1 back. Okay, that is the economics of the madhouse. Of course, all of these things could have happened without the European Union. There's no such thing as European money.
He instead points to businesses like Totally Wicked here in Blackburn. They sell nicotine-based electronic cigarettes and employ 160 people in the northwest. This is a booming industry. And despite Public Health England declaring their products 95% less harmful than cigarettes, EU regulations now place a raft of restrictions on what they can sell and how they can advertise. Here they warn that EU laws could put them and many others out of business.
We're selling a product that does need some regulation, but it doesn't need overburdensome regulation, and red tape from the EU is preventing us from doing what we want to do. It's preventing us from moving forward in the way that we want to. Why would we be spending the income that we get from our customers on legislation and meeting legislation and regulations that are really unnecessary?
Could you put a cost on how much you think it's affecting your business?
It's going to be this year in the many hundreds of thousands of pounds, if not into 7 figures.
But there are no shortages of northwest-based businesses who say the UK would be worse off alone. The heads of Unilever, Bruntwood, United Utilities, Peel Holdings all want the UK to stay.
We will find it much harder to gain access into international markets. We will find it much harder to gain access into our neighbouring market, which will then be the European Union. We will find it much harder when our companies reach out to try and get deals abroad elsewhere. And we will find it much harder to attract inward investment into the United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom could find out as early as February what the rest of Europe thinks of David Cameron's proposed reforms. That could see a referendum take place within a matter of months. All eyes will then be on Manchester for an announcement that threatens to change the political landscape of Europe and beyond.